I call this meeting of the Upshur County Commission to order. We will begin with a moment of silent meditation and prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. Jackie, and you're proceeding up there to the podium to read the minutes from our last meeting. This is your wife. I use it just for the mic.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
The County Commission of Upshur County, West Virginia held their regular meeting at the Courthouse Annex on Thursday, March 5, 2015 at 9 a.m. J.C. Rafferty called the meeting to order. There were present J.C. Rafferty, Commissioner, Troy Brady, Commissioner, Terry Cutright, Commissioner, Terry Wallace, County Administrator, and Jacqueline Dinklopper, Secretary. The meeting began with a moment of silent meditation and prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. All motions passed unanimously unless otherwise stated. After reading of the minutes on motion by Troy Brady, second by Terry Cutright, the Commission approved the regular meeting minutes of February 19, 2015 as submitted. After discussion on motion by Terry Cutright, seconded by Troy Brady, the Commission approved the minutes of the Board of Review and Equalization, January 29, 2015 through February 19, 2015. Todd Gunter, Field Representative for Senator Shelley Moore Capito, did not appear for his scheduled 9:10 a.m. due to inclement weather conditions. After discussion on motion by Terry Cutright, seconded by Troy Brady, the Commission approved the employment of Dan Boone as full-time Animal Control Officer effective March 15, 2015 at the starting rate of $11 per hour, with an increase to $12 per hour after the completion of the required training for the position. After discussion on motion by Troy Brady, seconded by Terry Cutright, the Commission approved the job posting/advertisement for a full-time temporary seasonal pool director for the 2015 season of the Buchanan Upshur Recreational Park. Kerry Wallace advised that classes for the required certified pool operator license will be offered on April 18th and 19th and reimbursable to whoever the Commission hires. After discussion on motion by Troy Brady, seconded by Terry Cutright, the Commission approved the appointment of Philip Petrosky as board member of the Adrian Public Service District Board of Directors. Mr. Petrosky is to fill an unexpired term ending on October 31, 2015. J.C. Rafferty reviewed a request from the second grade teachers at the Buchanan Academy Elementary School for a donation of a summer pool pass for a fundraising event. After discussion on motion by Terry Cutright, seconded by Troy Brady, the Commission approved a donation of 10 one-day passes. Micah Pitt Harris, Community Corrections Supervisor, appeared before the Commission and provided an update/status report on the West Virginia Community Corrections Grant Program application in the amount of $204,676 for the 2016 fiscal year and the cooperative agreement between the Upshur County Commission, grantee of Community Corrections Grant Funding, and the Lewis County Commission. After discussion on motion by Troy Brady, seconded by Terry Cutright, the Commission approved and authorized the President to sign the grant application and the cooperative agreement as requested. Tim Higgins, Upshur County resident, did not appear for his 9:30 a.m. scheduled appointment due to inclement weather conditions. J.C. Rafferty advised that Mr. Higgins requested that the Commission discuss West Virginia Legislature House Bill 2208 and Senate Bill 109 and vote no on these bills. These bills concern the enforcement of local smoking restrictions. After discussion on motion by Terry Cutright, second by Troy Brady, the commission approved and authorized the commission to send a letter of opposition to the West Virginia State Legislature. Mr. Rafferty requested Kerry Wallace to follow up with composing the correspondence. J.C. Rafferty reviewed the following for your information items. Number 1, correspondence from Debbie Thacker Wilfong regarding the fiscal year 2015-2016 public utility values. 2, correspondence from Circuit Court Judge Rieger regarding courthouse closure protocol. 3, correspondence from Carol Jordan, West Virginia Corp, regarding the 2015-2016 workers' compensation experience modification factor. 4, correspondence from Sutherland Communications regarding an increase in rates effective with customers April 2015 billing cycle. 5, correspondence from J. Burton Hunter regarding family court security concerns. 6, correspondence from West Virginia Division of Labor offering workplace coverage under the West Virginia Occupational Safety and Health Act. 7, correspondence from Stepco and Johnson requesting a Board of Assessment Appeals hearing in October 2015 on behalf of CNX Gas Company, LLC. 8, correspondence from the Office of the Governor regarding National Disaster Resilience Competition Notice of Public Hearing and invitation to comment on Phase 1 application. 9, notice of hearing for Bertha Virginia Smith Estate on April 9, 2015 at 1 p.m. 10, Lewis Upshur Animal Control Facility adoption financial transactions, January 2015. 11, NACO Prescription Drug Discount Program, January 2015. 12, James W. Curry Newsletter, February 2015. 13, Building Permits, February 2015. 14, Family Resource Network Calendar of Events, March 2015. 15, Agendas and/or notice of meetings as listed. 16, meeting minutes as listed. 17, meetings as listed. 18, budget hearing schedule as listed. 19, appointments needed or upcoming as listed. J.C. Rafferty reviewed a request from Callie Sands, Buchanan Upshur Parks and Recreation Advisory Board representative, for a donation of 4 individual pool passes and 2 family pool passes to be used as prizes at the Buchanan Upshur First Annual Hometown Olympics to take place June 6 and 7, 2015. Terry Wallace recommended keeping donations consistent and fair to all, with a donation of 10 one-day passes. After discussion on motion by Troy Brady, seconded by Terry Cutright, the commission approved the donation of 10 one-day passes. J.C. Rafferty reviewed correspondence from Circuit Court Judge Jacob E. Rieger concerning a request from Angela Brady to provide parking for magistrate court staff. After discussion on motion by Terry Cutright, seconded by J.C. Rafferty, the commission approves the request. Funding for the parking will be provided through Magistrate Court Fund. No, Commissioner Brady excused himself from voting due to a conflict of interest. After discussion on motion by Troy Brady, seconded by Terry Cutright, the commission approves the request from Greg Harris, Safe Structures and Sites Ordinance Enforcement Board representative, for the commission to order cleanup concerning case number 061214-01. After discussion on motion by Terry Cutright, seconded by Troy Brady, the commission approved and authorized the president to sign the approval and acceptance of the quote from Global Science and Technology for the Dell PowerEdge T110 server in the amount of $1,385.78 to be used for the James W. Curry Integrated Library Management System as discussed at a previous county commission meeting. After discussion, on motion by Terry Cartwright, second by Troy Grady, the commission approved and authorized the president to sign the customer service agreement with Book Systems Incorporated in the amount of $7,430 for the James W. Curry Integrated Library Management System software warranty, maintenance, support, and updates as discussed at a previous county commission meeting. Thank you. After discussion, motion by, lost my place.
Helen Phillips.
Okay, Helen Phillips, Upshur County Assessor, appeared before the commission and requested to meet in executive session to discuss staffing issues. On motion by Troy Grady, seconded by Terry Cartwright, the commission entered an executive session per West Virginia Code 6-98-4 at 9:47 a.m. Present were J.C. Rafferty, Troy Grady, Terry Cartwright, Terry Wallace, and Helen Phillips. The commission returned to open session at 10:03 a.m. No decisions were made in executive session. Helen Phillips announced the resignation of Ann Stewart as full-time deputy assessor effective March 13, 2015. Ms. Stewart has accepted employment with the West Virginia Supreme Court of Appeals. Ms. Phillips announced the resignation/retirement of Debbie Barnes as full-time deputy assessor effective April 30, 2015. Ms. Phillips then announced her own resignation/retirement effective March 31, 2015. Commissioners Rafferty, Brady, and Cartwright commented that Ms. Stewart, Ms. Barnes, and Ms. Phillips will all be greatly missed and wish good luck to all. After discussion on motion by Troy Brady, seconded by Terry Cartwright, the commission approved agenda item number 10, advertisement for the full-time positions in the office of the Upshur County Assessor. Applications must be returned on or before Monday, March 15, 2015. Carrie Wallace requested the presence of Greg Harris, Director of Facilities Operations, for the opening of the groundskeeping bids. The commission recessed at 10:13 a.m. The commission reconvened at 10:18 a.m. At 10:18 a.m., Carrie Wallace opened bids for the Upshur County groundskeeping. The following bids were received. Happy Grass Lawn Care in the amount of $20,420, less $2,600 for Wellness Complex, equal $17,820. Lawn Crafters in the amount of $46,162.50, less Wellness Complex, equal $40,312.50. And Sam's Lawn and Garden in the amount of $21,690, less $3,900 for Wellness Complex, equal $17,790. Mr. Harris stated that all bids were in compliance with requirements and recommended approving the low bid, which was received from Sam's Lawn and Garden in the amount of $17,790. After discussion on motion by Troy Grady, seconded by Terry Cartwright, the commission approved the acceptance of the bid from Sam's Lawn and Garden. Cammie Markwood, former E911 telecommunicator, did not appear for her scheduled 10:30 a.m. appointment due to inclement weather conditions and will be rescheduled to appear at a future meeting. After receiving word from Circuit Court Judge Jacob B. Rieger that the court would be closing due to inclement weather conditions, a motion by Troy Grady, seconded by Terry Cartwright, the commission approved the closing of the courthouse and annex and the immediate dismissal of all non-essential personnel for the rest of the day. Greg Harris provided an update on maintenance concerns. The commission approved all invoices for payment. The commission approved all vacation orders. The commission approved the following settlements as listed. The commission approved the following exonerations and/or refunds as listed. The commission approved the following requests to attend meeting. And the following exonerations and refunds were voided as listed. The commission approved the following requests to attend meetings as listed. With no further business, a motion by Terry Cartwright, seconded by Troy Grady, the commission meeting adjourned at 11:50 a.m.
Jackie, for that extended
That was a long meeting.
extended minutes. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes as read? If not, I would request a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. It is now 9:20, our first appointment is 9:30, so we have a few minutes to conduct items for discussion, action, or approval. We have announcement of the 4th Annual County Commission Association West Virginia County Government Essay Contest for 8th grade students across West Virginia. Monetary prizes will be awarded to first, second, and third place students who are winners. There will also be a prize for the first place winner's teacher to be used for classroom activities. All entries must be emailed to vivian@ccawv.org by 5:00 p.m. on April 17. A copy of that application is available through Carrie Wallace.
It will be on the website for the
On
commission.
the website as well. So anyone that's interested in applying for that contest may do so. We have necessary for approval and signature of a letter of support for the Upshur County Development Authority and their submission for Frontier America's Best Communities Grant. Basically, the Development Authority wishes to have the County Commission's support, along with other organizations, to apply for a substantial grant from Frontier Communications, and they are requesting that the County Commission support their request for this grant, or their competition for this grant, that in the event they meet the first level, that the County Commission commit to providing funding in support of that matching grant from Frontier Communications. Matching grant, I believe, is in the amount of $15,000.
It's $15,000 that they're asking the city to cover half and the county to cover
Right,
half, so
the
it's
city would-
$7,500.
Right. I have a motion to approve that request from the Development Authority. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Should be noted also that funding will also will only be forthcoming if the Development Authority in Upshur County meets and is accepted at the first level of the competition. We next need a approval for the signature of a facility use agreement for the wellness complex between the Commission and the Upshur County Pony League for $1 per year for the next 10 years. A copy of that agreement is also located in the agenda. I know the Commissioners have worked very diligently on this, along especially Commissioner Cartwright, and that this is a great opportunity for the youth of Upshur County to use that facility on Brushy Fork Road for many sports activities. So do I have a motion to approve the signature on that agreement between Upshur County Commission and the Upshur County Pony League?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. And I would note that the county prosecutor acting as attorney for the county commission has reviewed that agreement and found it to be in the best interest and legally presented properly, drafted properly. Next, we have approval and signature for a 2014 EMPG grant award in the revised budget in the amount of $31,242. Is there a motion to approve that grant? And that is for a Division of Homeland Security Emergency Management grant. Is there a second to that?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approved. I lost my phone. Yes. we approved that. I'm having my senior moment up here as I'm going through the agenda. We have next correspondence from Helen Phillips, assessor announcing her retirement effective March 31st, 2015, which she announced last week verbally, but we have the letter. Do I have a motion to approve Ms. Phillips' retirement?
I'm going to approve that.
Is there a second?
I hate to, but I'll second that, because I hate to see her go.
I've been reluctant many times myself to make those motions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign, motion carries. Next, we have correspondence from Deborah Barnes, Deputy Assessor, announcing her retirement effective April 30, 2014.
That should be 2015, I apologize.
I'm sorry?
That should actually be 2015. I
2015, I'm
apologize.
sorry. Okay. We have to return that salary if it's effective date. So, all in favor of that resignation acceptance? Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion to accept that resignation? You think it's easy being president, don't you? Do I have a second?
I'll second, and I also hate to see her go also.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Next, we have correspondence from Laura Ann Stewart, Deputy Assessor, announcing her resignation effective March 13, 2015. Do I have a motion to accept that?
We accept that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
You want a second?
You want a second on
Do I want a second on that? Well, I guess we can get some.
that? You have a second?
This is the one day I'm having, I think what it boils down to, we are losing 3 of the most experienced employees we have in the county, and they will be missed. They've done a spectacular job in my 4 years, but I know that in the case of all of them, they've been here many more years before I came on board, and they have the respect and of the public, and they have certainly the respect of the commission and the other employees and officers of this courthouse. We thank you again for your service. It is 5 more minutes till our 9:30 appointment.
Because item number 8 might take a little
Yeah,
longer.
I'm
than
gonna
5
go
minutes.
to number 9, which of course paying invoices. So we'll now go to items for information. We have correspondence from What's Next, Upshur County, announcing regional meetings to discuss economic opportunities for the community. These meetings are scheduled for next week for the most part at various schools throughout the county, and dates are set forth in that announcement. And this is an opportunity for the public to present ideas, possible things to consider relative to the future of Upshur County and what we as citizens and government officials should be focused on for the public's interest. Next, we have correspondence from Laura L. Ash, Deputy State Auditor, announcing property tax levy rates and taxes levied for 2015-2016. We have correspondence from the United States of America Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC as I like to say, announcing a notice of intent to prepare an environmental impact statement for the planned supply header project and Atlantic Coast Pipeline project. Request for comments on environmental issues and notice of public scoping meetings. We have correspondence from West Virginia Development Office regarding the Governor's proclamation of April 2015 as Fair Housing Month for the state of West Virginia, and encouragement of the Upshur County Commission to do the same, though that does not require approval by the County Commission in a formal sense. In the past, we have supported a proclamation for that effort, and I would sense that the Commission would request that we prepare a proclamation for further presentation, designating April as Fair Housing Month. Carl, is there a conspiracy there? Jackie, conspiracy something? Do you have something against fair housing, Jackie?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay, we have correspondence from Advanced Alarm Technologies Incorporated expressing an interest in bidding on future security system purchases. We have the Upshur County Public Library newsletter, March, April 2015. We have Lewis Upshur Animal Control Facility dog report for January and February 2015. We have the Lewis Upshur Animal Control Facility report for January and February 2015. We have agendas and notices of meetings. We have meeting minutes as listed. We have budget hearing schedules, which we've been conducting since Monday of this week and will conclude tomorrow. Various elected officials are coming in presenting the budget requests. In fact, have presented their budget requests for the upcoming fiscal year to the Commission for discussion. And we have the appointments needed for upcoming boards, for boards that have vacancies, which we've always advocated that the public consider, if you have an interest in serving the county and your community, please consider applying for a board vacancy in various boards that the commission participates in and oversees. It is now close enough to 9:30, I believe. Don't want to continue droning on. That we will now have Board of Education Representative Jody Akers, Director of Student Services, and she's been accompanied by Roy Wager, the Superintendent of Schools for Upshur County, regarding the approval and signature of the FY16 PRO grant. Jody?
Good morning.
Roy?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
That's exactly why we're here, asking for the approval of our 2015-16 PRO grant at the middle school. CJ Day has been our officer there for 3 years.
Has he graduated yet?
Getting close. Getting close. I thought I would bring with you some year-to-date data just to show you where we are and how far we've come since we've had Officer Day in that program. Our truancy numbers at our middle school have reduced by half, having an officer in there. And again, I bring you back to our officers that we have in both our secondary schools. Their main components are prevention, mentoring, and safety.
Do
And
much
that
more than
mentoring's-
provide the security, so to speak.
Yes, that mentoring has been huge, Our discipline infractions, and these include our alcohol, tobacco, and drugs, have reduced by 59% this year so far. And our discipline infractions with our physical aggression and fighting reduced by 66%. That's substantial.
Wow, that
We're
is
very
substantial.
pleased. Since we've started the grant, we've continued to see a decrease in all of these areas. So we're moving forward. We're very, very pleased. And it helps as those children move on to the high school with the PRO officer there. Our current grant, and Carrie has a copy of that. We're asking for $28,000 again. In the past, we've been awarded $20,000, but it goes towards the salary, which helps that cause. So we're just asking that you approve that and be back to pick that up. Mr. Wager is here to speak a little bit about the elementary PRO grant.
Yes.
Or not
As you
grant,
know, I
sorry.
came before you a few months, and thank you for allowing us to come. In our last levy vote, the citizens of Upshur County approved our levy, continuing levy, and also included in that levy was the addition and the Board of Education and the people in the county paying for an elementary PRO officer. We have the money. We'd like to get that up and running. We know that you all had some concerns, and I'm not really here to discuss it this time, but we would like you all to, either in writing or at the next meeting or something, discuss those concerns. I know one of the concerns was the salary during the summer, which you all pay. We pay the rest of it. So I did bring a breakdown of that for you all to keep.
Thank you, Roy.
That you can have what the Board of Education paid, and then what the county would then be responsible for is that. It's not, obviously we're paying most of it, 10 of the 12 months, and any overtime that those officers have during the school year, we will also pay for that when they've come to evening sessions and things like that. So it's been a great benefit, as you've heard. Just the mentoring part of it, the legal parts of it are great, and it really has worked. The mentoring part, to see your officers, the county sheriff's officers there, and the kids just coming up to them and just to say hi, at the secondary level, and now in their rotations, they've been hitting the elementary schools, and I happened to be in one of the elementary schools when Officer or Deputy Head was there, and the kids coming up and say, "Hey, Rocky, how are you? Oh, good to see you," and they're excited. The fear factor is with an officer and anybody in uniform. These kids they feel totally comfortable with them, and I think it's a great program, and we just wish to continue it and to go forward with our PRO officer for the elementary schools. That will be on a rotating basis.
Thank you, Roy, for those comments and for that information.
And I will leave this, so you all will have that for your information.
Well, that's the first time an educator's asked me permission for anything. I was always asking for permission. Sheriff, I noticed you're in the room. Would you like to comment on the program or on your opinions regarding
Well, I can. I'll just take a minute of your time.
Would you like to go up to the podium so that the public can see you? Hear from you, I think it's easier to hear from you. This is kind of off the cuff, so to speak, this Sheriff Kaufman.
Well, thank you for asking me that. I'd like for the commission to know that I'm very supportive of these pro officers. I've met with the school board and on several occasions, and I've talked to several of our good people in the county, and they have asked me to support them to do everything in my power to try to get this additional pro officer in our elementary schools. And with what you just heard from Jody, with the numbers and the way the program has worked over the past few years, I just think it's a great thing for our young people. And I think we can get somebody in to the elementary schools and start working with these young people from kindergarten up through 5th grade. I believe we can touch so many more young people, and you know, if we can just help a handful or whatever to be successful and move forward. I mean, I think that's our obligation as leaders and fathers of the community. So I support the program in full. I just don't know if we can work through all the concerns that we have. I mean, I know the commission, we're concerned about every dollar that we have. We've got to make sure that money's spent wisely. And I understand that, but I think this is a serious issue for safety concerns, for the good of the people. I would ask the commission to support this.
Thank you, Sheriff. Any other commissioners have any comments?
Any questions?
Mr. Wager,
Yes.
would it be possible for the board to pick up those after 2 months?
Well then, the only problem is I believe is that if they're not actually working for us, then it becomes a problem. I can investigate that with our board. In the meantime, in between now and the next, if you'd like us to come back to the next commission meeting and see what the legal ramifications of that are, we can talk to our attorney also.
What about some help on his vehicle?
You gonna let me drive it? No. I don't know, we'll have to investigate, you know. That's why I was asking if you could send us your concerns in writing, then I can discuss it with the Board of Education, with our attorneys to see the legal side of that,
Will do.
okay?
Okay.
And just as in addition to this, the 2 young gentlemen that you have placed in our schools, very high quality people. It's been wonderful working with them, and they are just fantastic gentlemen and great officers.
I think it's a great program.
Yeah,
I just don't know how much money we have.
I understand. Our levy rates were down from what we projected, and we're feeling it a little bit too.
It all rolls downhill.
Oh yeah, it sure does. Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
And I feel interview for a special ed rep. Thanks.
Thank you, Sheriff. Jody.
Thank you.
Our next appointment is at 10 o'clock. So we'll continue with our items for discussion, action, or approval. We have Okay, we have correspondence from Donald Rice, appraiser and mapper, announcing his interest in serving as assessor upon the retirement of Helen Phillips, effective April 1st, 2015. Do I have a motion to move to executive session?
I move to executive session.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries. We will therefore recess to executive session. The commission has exited executive session, no decisions were made. Is there a motion to appoint a interim assessor, Upshur County assessor.
I gave that quite a bit of thought, and I've had a couple of people that has called my residence that's interested in being an assessor. But at this point, knowing that we're losing 3 key people out of the assessor's office, and with Helen recommending Don, which I have known for years, I would move that we appoint somebody out of the assessor's office that has knowledge of that office as it is now and how it is being operated. So therefore, I would make a motion that we take Helen's advice and we appoint Don as.
Can I clarify something? Daisy, you said interim. You are not,
Well, it's only serving the portion of the term until,
Got it.
the unexpired term of
Yeah,
Helen, so
right.
this is not a 30-day interim status,
that's
correct?
correct. No, this is for the remainder of Helen's unexpired term. Maybe that's not a proper term to use, but intermediary.
Under the circumstances of losing so many key people out of the assessor's office, I concur with Buddy, and I think a common sense appointment would be done right. And I second that motion.
So before I ask for the vote, so it's the consensus of the other two that stability is a very important factor entering into this, that the office needs stability because of the number of retirements and resignations, but it's a small office, and okay. Having been moved and seconded, is all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The same sign, motion carries. Congratulations, Don. Okay, it's now 10 minutes to 10. We have our next appointment at 10. And I think we've done pretty much everything else, so we can take a 10-minute recess. Okay, we're back from recess. We have citizen Tim Higgins requests permission to address the commission.
Good morning. Thank you.
Morning, Tim.
Thank you for the lack of my appearance last week to the letter, and the fact that you took into consideration sending a letter rejecting 109 and 2208. I just wanted to fill you in today on another bill that 109 was defeated in the Senate, but unbelievably it came back the next day. The benign fireworks bill, 2624.
Jerry, they call it the Christmas tree. A lot of amendments and
Right,
added to it.
it was just a little benign branch of a bill, and the next thing you know, there was everything. As one Senator Miller said, it had everything except the new horse barn for the state fair. Where it is right at the moment, they tried to roll 109 back into that bill. That was rejected. But they did extend to veterans facilities the right to smoke in their facilities, and some gambling casinos, assuming that air exchanges.
Racetracks, I think, also were incorporated in that.
It was on second reading. It had second reading in the Senate, full Senate. It had gone back to committee. That's where all this stuff got hung on it. It will be back in, I assume, today on the full Senate floor, and will be third reading pass. At that point, it has to go back to the full House to see if they will take it. If they refuse to, then there will be a committee, conference committee formed to see if they can work out a compromise. So that's where it is. I would suggest that you should probably be prepared for having to approve smoking in a lot of other places with the, if it goes to conference, you can bet that they're going to try and put the original 2208 somewhere in there. So with that, that's really what I just came to kind of try and fill you in. I did want to make a note that CCAWB was not present for that, for the 26-24 date. Vivian evidently had, was of the opinion that was an okay bill.
That was it. Okay.
And at that point, that's when everything got added. So our American Lung Association of Lobbyists, Chuck New Hampshire, has kept us very filled in. It's only been a grassroots effort that has kept it from growing into governor at this point. So if you have any questions, let me know. So it's not over. There's about 65 hours left to session, so hold on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Tim.
We still have about 7 or 8 minutes before 10 o'clock, so we will take a short recess. We will now reconvene from recess for a 10 o'clock appointment. We have Kathy McMurray and Tracy Schroyer Carlisle, Child Advocacy Center, request for the fiscal year 16 funding. Would you like to take the podium, Kathy?
Well, thank you. As you said, I'm Kathy McMurray, Executive Director for Mountain Cap. I'm here on the behalf of our Board of Directors, and I have Joyce Harris Thacker here, who's current President of our board, and Tracy Schroyer Carlisle, who's the Deputy Director for Mountain Cap, and also the Program Director for the Child Advocacy Center. So I'm really here to talk about one of our 13 programs, which is our Child Advocacy Center. The Mountain Cap Child Advocacy Center brings together all of the professionals needed to address child abuse in Upshur County, including prosecutors, law enforcement, mental health professionals, medical professionals, and victim advocates. Our child-friendly center maintains a trained forensic interviewer and a child advocate on staff. They conduct recorded forensic interviews and provide referrals, support, and advocacy to the child and non-offending caregiver. The staff provides prevention courses to adults and children and has completed 15 courses in 3 Upshur County elementary schools just this year. Were it not for the Child Advocacy Center, each professional involved in a case would have to interview a child to gain the information they need. That can mean up to 3 or more interviews during just the investigation. And I'm sure you can imagine the trauma to a child to have to relive and retell that story repeatedly. The team approach allows for all the members of the investigative team to be involved in a coordinated approach, which reduces time spent on the case and avoids duplication of their work. The Mountain Cap Child Advocacy Center is a nationally accredited center, and according to a study by the University of Alabama, on a case-per-case basis, traditional investigations without a child advocacy center are 36% more expensive than when a child advocacy center is used. When the Child Advocacy Center seeks funding from our state legislators and other stakeholders, we need to be able to show local support for our efforts. 70% of the Child Advocacy Centers in West Virginia reported receiving county commission funding in the last fiscal year. Awards range from $1,000 to $41,000, with the average award being nearly $13,000. We know you, our county commissioners, care about the children of Upshur County, and that you have supported other expenditures that benefit the children of our community. We respectfully request that you support the Mountain Cap Child Advocacy Center because ultimately, these funds are used to protect our local children through prevention and to ensure they receive the justice and healing they deserve when they are hurt. We're specifically requesting 2 things. One is a budget appropriation for the fiscal 2015-16 year of $6,412, and we'd use that as follows. $2,900 for rent at the center. We've been able, it's about $6,000 our total cost for a year, but we've been able to piece together some small grants and donations, and so we're lacking only $2,900 there. $2,592 for utilities, that's about our total cost for the year, and $920 for annual insurance and bonding, which is an item that many of our funders don't cover. And I think it's important to know that we bring in well over $100,000 in support for this program. So it's a large cost, but yet, we've done a good job of finding grants and other support, but it's just not enough. Secondly, that the Mountain Cap Child Advocacy Center become a regular line item expense in the Upshur County budget, with the funding to be used as matching funds for federal and state funding and applied as needed to cover expenses in future years, not covered by other grants or donations. For example, in the 2015-16 year, we'll be required to bring in nearly $24,000 to $30,000 in match for the funding that we bring in. And so I think you're familiar with match, so I won't explain all of that. But we know that the current budgets have been tight, and hopefully in future years they won't be as tight. So we hope that you can consider the work that we do, the fact that we're part of that multidisciplinary team that is already part of county services. We'd also like to extend an invitation to each of you, your staff, and the general public to make an appointment to visit the Child Advocacy Center to learn more about our operation and the important work we do. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Kathy. Tracy, if you wish to make a comment or statement.
Not unless you have questions for us about the center. Or
Is there any other municipal or government agency also funding, like I said, is the city providing?
Lewis County
Lewis.
Commission has actually provided funding to us. They don't have a child advocacy center, but we do courtesy interviews for them in our center so that they can have also a recorded forensic interview. So we provide that service as a courtesy. So they've recognized the importance of that.
I know that Mark Davis, lieutenant at the sheriff's office, I think has been specially trained by the Bureau in that advocacy. I think we have
Well, Tracy herself is a trained forensic interviewer. And it's very important that, they follow that protocol for locations.
What was the amount you got from Lewis County?
$1,000.
Is this the first year that you've come? Because of course I've only been here for a year.
We did once before, but it wasn't during this general part of the session. I think it was when there was maybe some excess funds in a budget,
Okay.
and we made a request, but we were not funded then.
Okay.
Like I said, we believe that because we're an integral part of that whole multidisciplinary team around child abuse investigation and all of that we should actually be a regular line item in the county budget.
Well, we won't have our final figures for several more months, but certainly we'll seriously look at your request.
Thank you, and I've given Carrie a copy basically of my comments here today, so if you need to refer back or have questions for us later.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your.
And there's a lot of things this commission would like to do if we had more money, but unfortunately, we only have what we collect off of taxes. But we will give that consideration.
We know that the children of our community are probably one of our most important assets.
Well, they are.
And that, we know you recognize that.
They are the future leaders
Absolutely.
coming up.
And what a horrific experience. Prevention, of course, is a big part of what we do, but making sure, like you said, that healing and justice is found for those who are.
It seems like not a day goes by, not some national news story of import relative to that particular subject. I don't know if it's because we don't have a 24-hour news cycle, or I don't know that
It may be more public. It's always been with us,
Right.
unfortunately. That's why we feel prevention is such an important piece of what we do too, that, hopefully if a child is abused, that they know or become comfortable to tell so that it ends quickly and that, we can get those folks off
well, I know in the
out of our
past,
community.
prior to such programs, alleged offenders often escaped. Maybe not, escape would be a harsh word, but often were not held accountable for their alleged abuse and criminal acts because there was no methodology for interviewing the victims in a public hearing, public place, and often consideration was given to the sensitivity, the tender years of the victims to avoid them having the testimony provided, adversarial situation where you had defense attorneys and others that would could intimidate them or make them feel insecure. And it is through centers such as yours, it is through changes in legislation in terms of how victims of tender years can be interviewed or cross-examined, that some advances have been made in that area. Thank you.
It's a different world we live in. It's a different world that we live in, and I tell you what, the explosion of drugs and the abuse that follows that, I'm convinced plays a major role in the numbers that we see in the abuse of children.
Well, you hear it all the time.
And every year, it gets worse.
It does.
If anybody can sit down and say, we're better off this year than we was last year, you're kidding yourself. And I don't know how to put a stop to it.
And when
I really do not know how to put a stop to it.
And one fact I think that was not in dispute is that many people as adults who are offenders were victims themselves when they were youth, and there were not programs such as yours for them to seek protection.
You have a question?
I did. Item number 1, or section 1, all the items you listed in there. Do you normally take that from donations, or how has that been scheduled in the, or budgeted in the
It's just,
past?
like I said, we've tried to cover it here and there with sometimes we get small grants. What's covering it this year is we have some funding from United Way, the rent at least. United Way, our landlord gives us a little bit of in-kind break on the rent, and then I think the Lewis County money we actually put toward it, and that was new this year. So we just go out
Try to
and
make it work.
make it work. It's always a challenge.
Well, thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Yes, we do appreciate it. And the problem is, a lot of people know nothing about what you do because they don't see it. It's sort of like.
Well, it's, unfortunately, it's one of those subjects people aren't comfortable talking about, even though it's important to talk about it and that people know about it and are aware of it and how to identify it.
Now, of course,
No matter how uncomfortable it makes us feel.
I associate Mountain Cap with the daycare center because I hear people that go to Mountain Cap. Is that at the same location?
It's not in the same location.
Okay.
We actually have offices kind of spread out, but we have about 13 programs, and so the Child Development Center is one of those 13.
Okay.
It's because it's visible there on 20, I think most people see that, and
Right.
that we cover a multitude of programs.
Okay.
Anything else? Any other comments by the commission? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you taking time to come in and talk with us.
See, that's late.
Yeah, I think you will.
I will.
We'll be looking forward to it, Joyce. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think that completes our agenda. We now have some bills to pay, which we typically do on Thursdays. So that will conclude our